How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. I'm Preston Johnson, hanging out here in studio with Qwan Young. How you doing today? It's a lovely Thursday. I did double check, make sure it was Thursday. We got some draft drama happening. Like, we have the NBA draft tonight, and it's hard to, from a betting perspective, the day of, start breaking down draft bets. Look, anything that's available right now is moved a ton or is probably priced correctly. There's not much to be had. Stuff that was to be had in the last 2 weeks has moved. Look, book night under. It was pretty blatant that OKC wanted him. There was a lot of discussion with that. His 8.5, 7.5. Now it's down to 6.5. OKC, picks at 6.5, or excuse me, at 6, and so the under 6.5 is juiced. And now I'm hearing that potentially book night, there's some medical meniscus stuff that could be scaring some teams off. Maybe he's going to end up falling or dropping. Impacts so much. Really, those first 4 picks are locked in. But after that, what's going to go down? I put together my mock draft in like 15 minutes. It's not like that precise, but I wanted to take a shot on who I thought was going to go in each pick 1 through 14. So we'll talk about that on today's show. We'll finish off and conclude my ACC preview with the bottom 4 teams in the ACC today. I believe Ray G has come down with a sickness. He probably won't be joining us tomorrow, so I'll see if we can get someone in to sub in and talk ACC with us tomorrow to break down my picks, what they agree and disagree with. And then finally, your calls. This is Last Word Cheetah. 661-515-BETS is the phone line. You call us. You give us winners. We need W's. Yesterday, only Sarab won, which is interesting because he is now pulled within 0.22 units of Ty, who is up top the leaderboard right now. That was his pick from yesterday. Here's the leaderboard now. You said 0.22. Goodness gracious. That's 0.12. 8.89 minus 8.7. Before the show, Quan's like, hey, Saab's only 0.22 down. That's 0.12, sir. We gotta work on the math still. Listen, with Qwan.
Man, you guys don't.
He was excited because he figured out that plus 110 is plus 1.1x.
Baby steps, man. You guys don't pay me to do math. If you want to know about where...
You didn't have to do math. You could use a calculator.
Listen, if you guys want to know...
It's literally not math, Qwan. You told me 0.22. As I look over and take a glance at the leaderboard, it took me that long to realize that's not 0.22 in between.
Listen, if you guys want to know where to throw the ball in cover 2 or cover 3, cover 4, things like that, that's when you come to me. If you want to know 1 plus 1, I wouldn't risk it. Because 2, it's 2 sometimes, but then there are points in there, so... you get what you pay for.
It was a good attempt. You were off. Regardless, the point is Sarab is close.
He's close. That's
we give away $700 this month. There's 2 more days. Anyone that can pass up Ty on the leaderboard, put that leaderboard back up real quick. He's at plus 8.89. Is that what it was? Okay. So anyone that can end the month ahead of him is going to pocket the 700. The problem is so many guys now have been taking parlays the last week and a half that they're pretty far behind. Patrick might need to try to go on a little like 2-team, 3-teamer back-to-back days to close the week. Maybe gets him in the mix. Maybe Ty and Sarab end up losing the next few days. I'm intrigued to see how it plays out. We will see, but we'll be taking your calls, 661-515-BETS. And also, if you just have some good info, if you want to bet the NBA draft tonight, if you have questions about anything I'm hearing, I've heard a lot of things. The Duarte stuff we were in on early. I know he was 20.5 and there was an underplayed to be there. But again, these are bets that are no longer available. There was discussion on one other player. I'd have to look and dig into my threads. But I have some info. I have some sources, if you want to call them that. But ultimately, it's tough to bet the NBA draft market the day of, unless you're somehow able to get like a Woj tweet or Shams like instantly and hurry and take advantage here in the next couple hours before it starts. But NBA draft night's one of my favorite nights just as an NBA fan. Rumor that Buddy Hield will be coming here to play with the Lakers in LA. I think he'd be a good addition. You got Kuzma, Harrell in a sign-and trade to make the money work, going out with pick 22 for Buddy Hield. Look, the Lakers need the spacing. They need the shooting. Buddy takes a ton of threes, and he can still shoot, 40, 41% from three. And catch and shoot, man, with LeBron and AD getting you way, 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 way more open looks than De'Aaron Fox and Harrison Barnes were over there in Sacramento. Plus, I think if you play for Sacramento, you automatically just shoot about 3 or 4% worse than expectations. So that's part of life, King's life. Anyway, I'm excited if that goes down. I really would appreciate Buddy on the roster. I'm hoping also it means that they don't have enough to trade for Russell Westbrook. Although, as of 30 minutes ago, Rich Paul and Russell Westbrook started following each other on Instagram. Facts.
You know what that means.
I hope it means nothing, because I really do not want Russ. Look, Anthony Davis says, I don't like playing center. All right, so you're going to have Anthony Davis, LeBron, Russell Westbrook, and some center.
Drummond.
And maybe, hopefully, yeah. Where's the shooting? LeBron's your best shooter? He's not a shooter. And guess what? It's probably Buddy Hield then if they plug him in, or it's KCP. Either way, if you have this day and age, you need more than one guy that can shoot a three-pointer to win games. It's going to be rough. So I hope the Russell Westbrook trade doesn't happen if the Hield one does, which I'm hearing is going to get done today, for what it's worth. I don't think you can bet it or take advantage, but hopefully that does. Do you have anything to say real quick? I'm going to pull this up. I got a message. It might be tough to find. Just a second. I know you're a Detroit guy. The Pistons. They're picking number 1.
I just want to say that there's no way that they can mess this up. I think they already came out this morning and said it's going to be Cade. This is the first time in Pistons history. Like, Darko, Rodney White, not picking Luke Kennard, picking who else have we had? Like, they have just completely failed. The last great draft pick was probably Grant Hill. And that's like, we're talking 94, 95, those years. So I'm excited to see where this team goes. Like, I checked them out a few times this year, and they were tanking, but it was an active tank, and they were in a lot of those games, which it's not comparative to what Philly was doing, because I think there was a lot of development. No. Yeah, there was a lot of development with Casey and the young guys, and they found some players who were trying to redeem themselves. So I like the upward projection.
Okay, so here's what I was going to ask you. I was planning on coming in here and saying, how does Detroit mess this up? They have Cade Cunningham sitting there at number 1, and they haven't actually said we're going to pick Cade Cunningham. We're not sure. We're hearing out trade offers. Well, I got a source that confirmed this trade offer.
Is it Shy?
Shout out Sapphire. No. Oh, yeah. SGA, the number 6 pick, the number 16 pick, and the number 18 pick in this draft. And SGA.
And they didn't do it.
And Detroit said no.
I just saw the Shy and the number 6 pick.
It was also 2 more mid first rounders. I mean, OKC has a plethora of them. Like, they don't really care. It was interesting. I think the drop off after Suggs, even the top 3, I think most people think it's 3, then Suggs is like 4, then there's a drop off for sure. So not getting one of those 4 is pretty significant. I talked to another friend of mine that's from Detroit, and he's like, you just can't do it unless OKC can find a way to get the number 3, and then you trade SGA and number 3 so that Detroit can draft Mobley or Green, whoever it may be. I looked at 3 first-rounders and SGA. I think the best point that my buddy made, shout out Kanish, he said SGA is about to get max money, or at least close to it. Cade's on a rookie contract for years. It's just way more flexible building a team, and that's probably the swing. But it was interesting. 3 firsts, and SGA's dang good. I love him.
I saw that didn't it come out yesterday? I didn't see the additional picks. I just saw the Shy and the 6 pick.
Yeah, people were saying, there was some sort of, there's been offers going to Detroit. SGA might have been in one. The official offer was supposedly 6, 16, 18, and SGA, which is pretty loaded. We have to take a break.
Actually, we can keep rolling through.
We can?
Yeah, we can keep going.
All right.
Things
happen.
Yeah, things happen. We can keep rolling.
All right, we don't have a break right now. If we need one, if we need to hit one later, let me know. Give me a heads up. If that's the case, we'll open up the phone lines now. I know generally we go about 110, 111. So 661-515 bets. If we have callers, we can start taking those. I'm intrigued, man. NBA draft, but SGA, he's one of my favorite players in the league. I'm not sure why. Defensively, the leap he made in his efficiency last year as being the guy on ball, making plays, just scoring at the rim, shooting. Like, you guys even look at his stats? I'm not sure if this guy over here has. I'm not sure Cade Cunningham is like a for sure multi-all-star. Everyone talks like he is. I'm not going to say that he is. SGA shot 51% from the field last year on 5 threes at 42% from 3. Look, this is an OKC team that was absolutely just decimated. They had nobody else. Defenses were only trying to guard SGA. This is his 3rd season in the entire league. He averaged 24, 6 assists, 5 boards on those efficiencies, and I think he's going to be a great defender. He's long, he's athletic. He's on a bad team, of course, but he still would be if he went to Detroit. But I'm just intrigued by them not doing it. We do have callers? Okay. I kind of have this hunch now that if Detroit had, then Cunningham would have been just all world. But now that they're going to take Cunningham instead, I don't know. When do you think he tears his ACL? I'm sorry, Cade. Look, we have a caller. I'm not sure who's first, but patch them through. Welcome to Last Word, Cheetah. This is Preston. How are you doing today?
What's up, Preston?
Hello, sir. I'm shocked the 5-teamers haven't been panning out for you.
Whoa. Low blows early. I mean, can we start with this SGA thing?
Yeah, do you think Middleton's better than SGA?
No. But
Okay.
But I mean, if you're looking at Cade Cunningham, like, he's some guy that can be the number 1 on your team, like, is an actual all-star. Like, those other picks mean nothing in the NBA. The 16th pick, the 6th in this draft, like, you're getting a role player. Like, I don't know. To me, why would you do that if you're the Pistons in a rebuild?
Because SGA's better than you think Cade Cunningham will be. And what's interesting, and I think the reason it got offered eventually, is because Detroit wasn't committing. They kept giving out signals that they weren't sure they liked Cade Cunningham as the number 1 guy. They might go elsewhere. They might trade down, which is what you're supposed to do, right? Test all the waters, see if you get a really good trade opportunity. But
you can't get baited on fake news.
It's not fake news. I'm telling you, that's the trade offer they got.
No, I'm saying, like, them going out there, sticking their head out there is fake news. Like, they're just doing that to play.
Just save face, yeah. They could be. If they're not committed to Cade, though, then they at least have to consider it. But the money thing, I think, is the biggest difference.
I just don't understand the, like, you know, I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a metric guy, but, I mean.
Look, Detroit said no, so they agree with you.
40% here from 3, but the guy can't shoot the ball. He takes a really long time to shoot it. He's not like a scorer, and sure, he can put up numbers on the Thunder. So did Michael Carter-Williams on the Sixers. But
not at 51%, 42% from 3. He was shooting a ton of threes too. Shai's built better.
On the Thunder, Preston.
It does. That makes it more difficult to shoot efficiently when your next best player is Poku.
How is effort the same in a 30-point game? It isn't a 0.
He didn't play the back half of the season either when they were down 30 in those games.
Like,
do you know the Thunder's record when SGA played last year?
It's like comparing the regular season to the postseason.
They were 500 team when SGA played. They actually were winning games. Then they went on like a 30-game losing streak, and SGA had the ankle injury that they never really specified what it was to tank.
Why don't you go follow up SGA?
I don't know what he has against SGA. I didn't even say I would do the trade. I never even said I would. I just think that SGA, people don't realize the leap he made last year. And outside of the fact that after one more season, he's going to get paid a lot more money, I'm not sure Cade Cunningham's better than SGA long term. I don't know anyone that can know certainly that that's the case. So to know that you're getting an SGA level player with 3 firsts, it's at least a consideration, in my opinion.
Who cares about the fucking 26th pick in the first round?
Come on, Tom.
Sorry for
do you want to go through and talk about players that have been picked 16th or worse?
Yeah, and then I want to go through about all the ones that missed, because I'm sure that number is realistic, Preston. I'm sure anyone can come up with a lottery ticket.
Exactly. That's what happens. That's why it has value. You can hit like 2 to 3 guys every year.
It's like a a 0.01% chance of hitting.
Well, for you, yeah, you wish you had a 0.01 chance percent of hitting.
This is getting tense.
But 2 or 3 guys in the back half of the first into the second round is more like a 10 to 15% chance of hitting for starters.
25 to 30 in the last 5 years. Who's an impact player? Hit me. 25 to 30.
You want to start pulling up the list? You want to pull up the list?
I see Vucevic is on here.
Yes.
Which year are you looking at?
I'm looking at, this is history of the NBA draft, pick number 16. The best on here is probably Stockton.
Oh, you're just looking at 16s only?
Yeah.
Well, that's about the dumbest thing I ever heard. Of course,
What?
there's going to be one good pick selection.
He only is looking at pick 16.
I'm only looking at 16. We talked about pick 16.
I'm saying, Preston's like, oh, value here. I'm saying, there just isn't. The NBA draft, like, you go look back, there's like 5, 6 guys in a first round that are actually impactful. I could pull a role player off the streets.
So you're saying, theoretically, this is the potential. OKC would have 2 shots. We're not even talking about the 6th pick, by the way, which then Detroit could even use to move up, move back, get more picks, get a future. Doesn't matter. They have a ton of avenues to using these picks to be beneficial. But just looking at, I went 5 years back. This will be 2017 NBA draft going into this next year. We could go to 2016 if we want. But you had a pick 19, John Collins, a guy that made a run into the Eastern Conference Finals as the second best player on the Hawks.
25 to 31.
Jared Allen, 22. OG Anunoby, 23. Kuzma was 27th. Derek White, 29th. This is 1 year. You want to go into the next? Like, any of these guys would be great with SGA and 2 other first-round picks.
The 19th pick. You're just not listening.
He's upset.
I don't know why you're even saying the 19th pick. It wasn't even in the deal. It's 16 and 18 and 6.
You just fucking said John Collins, the 19th pick. My point was like 25 to 31. Sure, you can.
Why would you make a point about 25 to 31 when the picks are 16 and 18? I'm looking at 16 or lower. Kevin Huerter, the 3rd best player on the Hawks, 19th pick.
I'm talking about the back end.
Why are we talking about the back end? We're talking about picks 16 through 18, that range. They can hit. I don't know why you think it's like a 0.001 chance.
When do we even get into 25 to 30?
I don't know why we're talking about 25 to 30. They don't have any picks 25 to 30. The offer wasn't 25 to 30.
I was saying 25 to 30.
Why?
Why? There's no picks there.
I'm saying the back end of the first round. It's like picking in the second round. There's nothing there. You
don't want Terrence Mann. He dropped 40 against the Jazz in a playoff game to close it out and move on.
Second-round pick.
He was a 48th pick. You don't want him? You don't want a shot at hitting on one of those guys?
Second-round pick. I just fucking said that.
I know. So why wouldn't you want 16 and 18? And 6?
Because you're the fucking Pistons. What guy in value are you going to get there that isn't just a shot in the dark? That's my point.
They aren't, but you got to realize, like, the 5 to 10 to 15% chances add up. Getting 3 of them plus SGA might be more than Cade Cunningham. I never even said it would be, but I think it could be. I think it's a consideration. That's all I ever said. Do you have a play for us?
Do we have a pick today?
We have people now waiting on the line.
Talk to me. Did they?
I didn't even hear you. We got to make a pick because we have a bunch of people lined up.
Okay, the Celtics just did this. They got all these fucking first rounders. They couldn't do dick with them. What happened?
They went to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. Oh, no, they didn't win a championship against LeBron?
Oh, Jeremy Langford. Oh, my God, the 14th pick. They nailed one. Like, come on. That's my point. It's like they hit theirs. They hit the Tatum. They hit the Brown, and they still got fucked. That's my point. You can do all the fuck you want in the draft. You're still not going to win.
You got to watch your language, for one, because you've used a few of those words. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. I don't know why you're upset about Boston. I'm not sure if you're from there. If I recall originally, you might be. But either way, I'm sure the Detroit Pistons would love to go to the Eastern Conference Finals a few times. I think they would.
Are you a participation trophy kind of guy?
Are you going to make a pick tonight? Because we have players waiting.
Oh, somebody's got his little nuts tangled.
Quan's just going to cut you off now. I asked him 4 times if he has a play for us today. Bring in the next caller. Ty, you have to make a W, man. You have to figure it out. Sarb's trailing by 0.12.
I'm going with my guy, Caleb Dressel, in the 50 free tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, goodness.
He's,
why is this? Do you have a reason?
Yeah, because he's gonna roll, and that would force the guy in second to go with some kind of dog or parlay to pass me.
Unless you lose. We're doing this again. Hold on. What's the event?
Well, if
50 freestyle?
Men's 50 freestyle tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You're laying.
Dressel should be either mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I saw either minus 900 or minus 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. This is the men's 50-meter freestyle?
Yeah, it should be tomorrow morning.
It's definitely not minus 900 anymore. Someone smashed some dog. Maybe Vladimir.
No. Sorry, I said minus 900. You didn't. It was just you probably didn't hear me that well.
Yeah, I see minus 370 right now.
That's the best price you see tomorrow.
I don't see minus 900. I mean, 370 is a way better price.
Yeah, 370 is way better. DK had minus 1,000, so I thought I was.
When did you look?
5 minutes ago.
Wow, that's a huge discrepancy. That means that FanDuel, they might actually be offering a bad line. So anyone listening, we might have run into a bad price because even if Caleb Dressel, I think is how you say his name, if he, the next best, the second favorite's still 7.5 to 1. So at the very least, yeah, this is a mispriced line. I'm pretty sure. If anyone's listening, you're getting minus 370 on something that should be.
That. I don't have FanDuel in Connecticut, but somebody should max that out.
Not sure what they're taking max wise, but let's see. Olympic specials. Yeah, wow. Okay. Because even relative to the other prices, plus 750, plus 1,200, plus 14. Caleb Dressel should be minus at least 700 range, 600s. And it's only minus 370, and then you look at the other books.
Yeah, that's what I'm rolling with. Because
so I guess now because we run into this, you don't have to risk your entire plus 9 units or whatever on one bet.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely take that, but I still think that if he goes down, I'm still probably in trouble unless I hit a Friday parlay.
I can't believe. Yeah, I mean, you'll need to hit something tomorrow if he actually loses this. But the 100-meter, he's minus 550. Just to kind of put this into context for people that are following along. In the 100-meter, Caleb Dressel is minus 550. The next favorite is a worse price than that, right? They can't give you a minus price that's better than the plus dog. It's Millock, who's plus 500. The second favorite for this 50-meter is plus 750. That means that Caleb Dressel should probably be around the minus 700s range. But he's minus 370.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, if you've seen minus 900 and minus 1,000 and you're out there and you can bet this, fire away. I'm sorry if it loses, but it's value. Yeah.
That's what I'm going with, and I just helped out anybody watching the show that wants to hammer that.
I wonder if, I don't know how many people are actually watching live right now. They probably honestly hung up and turned the show off when Tone was on last segment, just going on and on. Yeah. But if they stuck around, I'm curious if this will move at all during the show. We'll track it. I'll refresh a few times. But, I mean, you're getting a price at minus 370 where he only needs to win about 78.5% of the time to break even, and the rest of the market's at 90%. So, yeah, I think you should do that. Although someone just sent me an attachment. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You know who that just sent the DM? Oh, wow. You can fire 10K. All right. 10K max. So you can bet pretty heavily on this. I was confused a little bit there with the balance. You know who. But you can fire 10K at minus 370. It pays 7,400. So they're taking pretty big limits, and it's a bad line.
You're looking at FanDuel, Preston?
Yeah.
And do you have access to that in California or no?
No. California is probably 2 or 3 years away still.
Yeah, okay. Connecticut will get it this year, but I don't have it now either, so I can't fire away. But yeah, that's what I'm rolling with. Force the hand of the guy who's in second, who's been doing pretty well.
Right on. We'll lock you in. Minus 370 to win the 1 unit on Dressel. Well done.
Thanks, man. Later.
Do we have anyone on hold? I got to text some people. Like people we're working with. Maybe we can take the break if they're ready. I know the things are back up and running or no? No? All right. We don't have breaks today. Hold on. Minus 370 is a bad price on Dressel. If people that I know want to make some money, I'm sending this out.
Yeah, I'm getting somebody just wagered Benny, our guy Benny.
I didn't want to dox him, but okay, now he did. He didn't wager it. He was just plugging it in to see what the max was. Yeah, so he didn't actually bet it, I don't think. He's probably deposited.
So explain that. Let me ask you a question.
You want to? Okay, but no. You don't get to ask me. I know where you're going with this.
Listen,
I don't even know his numbers. Max wager 7407. I apologize. I said 10,000. He plugged in 10,000. I just thought back on 7407 is the max risk still. Not bad at all. What would you track if we were doing a leaderboard?
Don't do
minus
that.
370 favorite.
Put me on this.
Okay, if he loses,
he loses 1 unit. You just said it. No, he loses 3.7 units. Right?
Yes, he loses 3.7. If he wins,
he's the favorite. So
then he wins 1.
If he wins 1. Listen, man. Hey, I got it before. I got to show the whole world that I'm bad at math.
Eventually, it's gonna click.
Eventually,
I promise.
yeah. That's what we're here for. Eventualities, not for right now. Oh Lord. Before this call, it's Tone. I think he's calmed down.
He probably just wants to actually make a bet. If he was actually listening on the other side, I asked for his bet 4 times. I said we had people on hold and we needed to move with it. And also he knew he was using language that, gets people frustrated. So if he wants to call back and give us his 17-teamer, we can take it. But otherwise, I don't really want to care to argue about something I didn't even say anyway. I said I would consider it. I don't know if Detroit made the right decision or not. Either way, I know it's Detroit. And you're a Detroit fan. Nothing goes right in Detroit, so it's just worth discussing.
There are some things that go right. Tone, you're on.
Do you have a play?
Preston, I'm apologizing for my language.
I don't care. You know that. And I'm not the one who cut you off either, but
I want to apologize to you and the suits for my F-bombs. I love F-bombs. They're a part of my vocabulary, and when you get the baiting, it's hard to avoid them.
Someone was listening. They pulled the line. Or someone hit it once for the max, and then I just had to update people. This FanDuel thing, they pulled it. It's no longer available.
I want Caleb Dressel. Okay.
It's not. It doesn't exist. I just refreshed it. Can't get it.
A bad line.
That's what I get for doing it live on air. It's all good. Hopefully 1 or 2 people were able to bet it before they pulled it, but they realized the mistake. Unfortunate.
I'm going back to the live well, Preston. You have a live well over there.
It worked so well yesterday. Hit us with it.
Well, it worked beautifully yesterday. The Padres let up 10 straight. We want the Dodgers live.
Okay, you want the money line?
Yeah, money line.
Plus 400. Okay.
We want the Wagons. We want the Red Sox money line.
Still thinking it through. Minus 116 I can give you there. All right, what else we got?
Yeah.
I know it was a day on the Diamond where a ton of games started early. There were a lot of AM.
Brutal. A's money line.
Of course. Minus
Frankie
133.
Montes, the lost soul. And that's it. Actually, just why not? We need the Rockies money line.
I love how he's going with A's, and the Angels haven't even announced who their starting pitcher is. Rockies free. Oh, wow. Okay, you're going plus 242. I'll give you plus 242. All right, you ready? It's going to be pretty good.
What is it?
55-1.
Yeah.
That should put you in the W spot, but you need this Dodgers comeback live as the main piece, and then you might be at least in the realm of close.
That whole thing is the main piece. That thing has just about no chance. And, like, all these teams, one of them's probably going to make a trade, and half the lineup will be flipped. It's all for the fun. All right, peace out, Preston. Sorry for the bombs.
It's all right. We love you, Tone. Take it easy.
I like him, man. Sometimes he comes back on the show and he's like accountable. He knows when he knows he's being a little bullish. He comes back a little more humble. It's been a testy day.
Apparently, people getting hyped about the NBA draft. I swear he's from the East Coast somewhere. Maybe it's
Jersey.
Philly? Jersey?
Yeah.
Is it Jersey? I'm trying to figure out why he hates Boston
Everything?
or the SGA, or I don't know. Maybe there's more to it.
I think it's just a temperament, man. He's a little frustrated.
Let's be honest, though. His argument about why would you want the 16th or 18th pick they never hit. And then he's like, I'm talking about 25 through 31. I don't know why he brought that up. Regardless, if you're a team and you're rebuilding and you can lock up someone like SGA who you think can be one of your main three pieces eventually, and you get 3 first-rounders in a draft that's pretty good all in all, I don't know. I still think it was interesting that they said no.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you said was it Kanish that said, like, Shai's going to get a max contract next year. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, or close, but yeah.
You could build with Cade for the next couple of years and maybe bring another star in or something along those lines. Like, they got a bunch of restoration projects.
That's the difference in approach. Let's say we actually knew ahead of time that Cade and SGA are going to be similar players. I think most people would say Cade has more upside. That's fine. I think it's an argument either way. Regardless, let's say they're similar. The approach then is, all right, do we want to have a capped payroll with SGA, or do we go 25 to 27 million less per year for the next 3 or 4 years while we try to build around Cade? And so that's like your main decision is, are we going to try to rebuild with more flexibility or less flexibility, but with more picks potentially to hit on someone that's cheap later in the draft? So you're trying to weigh everything. I should have said this from the get-go. I like to just needle you about Detroit, but I don't remember there being a trade offer that I thought was as juicy for our number 1 pick. Like, you don't really hear about trades for number 1 picks anyway because they just always pick whoever's number 1. But Detroit was playing it like, we don't know, and so they started getting these offers. And this is one where I think, yes, of course, number 1 pick you usually never want to bother, but it just is one that piqued my interest at least. So it's just an interesting discussion.
I get what he was saying about it being fake and everything.
By the way, speaking of Kanish, he said it's minus 600s at bookmaker. Probably shouldn't be minus 900, minus 1,000, but the minus 370 is still cheap. So, I mean, it's a deal. It's a bargain. But I also don't follow swimming, and he brings up a good point, right? The 50 meter. Is that one lap for an Olympic size?
I think it's
one time, right?
One time, yeah.
So the margins are pretty thin. Like, if you have one bad dive or start or flip, like, then you're done. You probably lose your minus 600, or still the minus 370 is just a deal relative to a lot of other books that are taking action on it. Put them through. We got a call. Bring them on. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah. Who are we talking to?
Yeah, Andre calling from Massachusetts.
Yo, how you doing?
Doing good here. I'm zeroing in on Team USA's game tonight against Japan. They are minus 19 and a hook. I think I'm going to take them to cover. And my rationale is I like all of the energy and the hoopla that goes on with the NBA draft, the trades, the speculation. So even though these guys are halfway across the world, they're going to be watching that. They're going to be locked in, and they're going to be going basically right from the draft and all this trade stuff into a ball game since they play at 12:40 in the morning, which threw me off in the Iran game. So I think they're going to be hyped. and I think it's going to be the same type of, Japan, they're just going to mop the floor with these guys, in a game where they're locked in and not, resting on their laurels like we saw against France.
So what line do you see, or what's your point spread that you want to bet?
So it's Team USA is minus 19.5.
Okay, that hasn't moved since yesterday.
Hold on, excuse me. Hold on. Let me get my facts. Preston, I feel terrible. That's the women. That's the women, not the men. I'm looking at the wrong. But you know something? I'm gonna keep that anyway. Even though it's not, I'm gonna keep the ladies to cover.
That's why I couldn't see it. I was looking for this bet. I was like, man, I don't see men's USA against Japan. Okay, 19.5. I do see the women at 19.5, who, by the way, struggled themselves in a similar sentiment. They ended up beating Nigeria, but they were losing for that first 2.5, 3 quarters of that game as massive favorites. So we'll lock you in anyway, but hopefully the U.S. men's team.
I apologize for the runaround, in terms of.
It's all right.
But yeah, at the same time, the Nigerian women's team, not to go too far, they have a couple NBA players with Chinny Umake. I think her sister also plays on the Nigerian team, so they're no pushovers. And they also got in. That was the situation where they got into a little dust up with the Australian team before the Olympics, where Liz Cambage had to be, set aside. So I think that's a good team. They're contenders. They're not. But anyway, back to the women. I apologize for the back and forth. They're going to cover. They're going to handle business against Japan. Tarazi's going to go off.
All right, we'll lock them in. Well done, Andre. We appreciate it. No big deal. Take care. We'll probably have a line for the next men's game tomorrow. He can call in and talk about it because I think the game's Saturday. But what are you laughing at?
You know what I'm laughing at. Tone called in again, but I guess he
good.
Oh, well, he called in again. He's coming on.
All right, this is your last attempt. Wait, he might have called to try to change his bet because the Dodgers probably are down even more. What's up, man? What do you want to say?
None of those people are on the Nigerian women's team. Fact checking. Then they didn't join it. Preston, you know the WNBA better than that. I need you smacking back at them. GG's.
Look, the guy already thought it was the men's line. He's only called in a couple of times. I know there was some back and forthing on who was going to go or not and participate or not, but Tone just keeps everyone in their lane.
Yeah, at least we know he's watching the show intently. Like for the entire hour we're here, Tone is on the phone.
He probably just has a speed dial at this point that he hits one button and it automated.
We just need to give him a segment.
Yeah, we should. We could just start actually scripting this stuff. Yeah.
Just give him 10 minutes to yell.
All right. Should we do the NBA mock real quick while we've kind of gone back and forth about it? And then I'll hit my ACC. I went through 1 through 14. After this, I want you, Qwan, to tell me how many I get wrong. Look, Cade Cunningham's pretty much a lock. Jalen Green's close to it. I know you can still get, I think minus 310 was the best price as of 2 hours ago. You could get him going number 2, so it's a pretty big favorite. And then Evan Mobley. There's discussion that Toronto doesn't like Jalen Suggs. His workout went really poorly. They've tried to trade out of the spot. The problem is no one really loves Suggs either, and he's kind of like the last of the 4. And I think people say, why are they going to give up extra equity if they can get like Barnes or Bouknight, or they think maybe Kuminga has upside. So eventually I think what happens, whether it's a trade or whether it's Toronto, Suggs just has to go 4 though. And then after that, Barnes has been pretty set. And that was the other guy. I was trying to think of like 3 bets that I had some people telling me were worth making on some info. Orlando Barnes has been around for, I don't know, almost 2 weeks. So that's that. Bouknight's the one where, I don't know, maybe some getting scared about his meniscus. I still think he ultimately goes 6 to OKC. I think Kuminga's the one I think that probably has the most kind of wild variance upside as far as him being just kind of like that wing 3-4. They can do it all. Can obviously do it as well on the defensive side. The Warriors maybe take a shot. Now, it doesn't make sense if you believe the reports that Steph, Dre, and Clay had a front office meeting at the end of the season, said we want to win now. But there was something last night that makes me think Kuminga is going to go 7th to Golden State, assuming he's there and Book Night doesn't fall, which could happen. Again, this is all speculation, but I'm going to go Kuminga at 7. I heard one thing that might ultimately just be what Golden State goes with. Worst case, if they end up using him as a trade chip or piece for something else, a lot of people do like Kuminga's upside and potential. So it wouldn't be a bad person to have on their roster. And then the Magic, I'm not really sure. I think this one's going to be interesting, obviously, because they just take Barnes at 5. They have a problem with, like, they have all these guys that they've drafted that are kind of like the Kuminga, but like Jonathan Isaac, even Aaron Gordon to some extent. They have Markelle Fultz's broken shot, who they picked up from the Sixers in a trade. A lot of guys that can't shoot. The one guy that could was Evan Fournier. They traded over to Boston. Maybe they can get Moses Moody to be their kind of guy that just scores, gets buckets, something. He did it at Arkansas. They need a scorer, and I don't think you can reach at 8 for like Kispert or Davion Mitchell, who we're going to talk about later. So I think Moody, that's kind of the spot and the need for Orlando. So I know it's a little higher than I think most mocks, because I did a glance at some mock drafts earlier. That's higher than most have them, but I'm going to take a shot there. And then I think the best player left at that point is Franz Wagner. Wagner, I should say.
Wagner.
My bad.
W's are tricky.
They are in Germany. And the Kings need everything more or less, but if they're making trades for like Kuzma to try to get better defensively, I mean, Rashawn Holmes had a nice year, I guess, but they need bigs, they need bodies, which, by the way, the rumor is that Wagner grew 2 inches since the season ended. But no one can confirm it. I don't know how that's possible. Like, you either know if you grew 2 inches or not, but that's the rumor. So if he's, I believe he was 6'9", he should be 6'11" now. Obviously, having the extra height, maybe a little more wingspan.
Yeah.
Maybe Wagner's still growing. I don't know. Maybe the Germans need a few extra years before they.
I told you, man, you grow until you're like 22.
That's what you tried to say.
It didn't happen for me. Just because it didn't happen for me doesn't mean it's not real.
So I'm going to go him at 9. I think he's just the best player available, and it's not like the Kings don't need a big man. And there's a chance he goes earlier for sure as well. Like the Magic have Vucevic, right? They made a trade. Did they trade him? What am I thinking of? There was a bunch of trade rumors, right, for Nikola Vucevic. Yeah, he went to the Bulls. Duh. I don't know. So maybe they go Wagner after all. He got traded to the Bulls. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe I got too ahead of myself with the Moses Moody call. But regardless, those are the best two, I think, remaining. Then the Josh Giddey was the trade that just happened with Memphis and New Orleans, where they pick up the 10th pick and they want Giddey. That's their guy. It was just like pretty much a known thing. He was another person you could have bet under 12.5, under 11.5, and was looking strong. But again, can't bet those anymore today, so no point really dwelling on it. And then at 11, I went with this guy, Alperen Sengun, I believe, probably butchered that, but he was the MVP of the Turkish League, MVP as an 18-year-old. Does a little bit of everything. His comp is also Vucevic. I had Nikola Vucevic in mind. Sabonis, that type of guy. I think at that point, at number 11, the Hornets could use a big that's versatile, can score and play alongside LaMelo in some form or fashion. I think he's a good pairing. And then this is where... Isn't Corey Kispert like the perfect Indiana Pacers draft pick? They always draft like the white guy. It's usually a Hansbrough or DJ McDermott or Doug McDermott. Corey Kispert is going to get sniped by the Spurs right before the Pacers pick, and then the Pacers are going to go Davion Mitchell. But if it's switched, it wouldn't surprise me. Both teams need shooting, and I think Mitchell can maybe do a little bit more as far as just scoring as a whole. But Kispert, I think, actually graded out, at least in college, as a better defender. And so I'm going to go Kispert to the Spurs, Mitchell to the Pacers. But if it's reversed, again, wouldn't surprise me at all. And then Duarte, our friend from Oregon, one of my favorite guys and teams to bet on this last college basketball season, been moving up the draft boards. I'm going to have him at 14 to the Warriors. Someone that kind of then fits that we need to win now mold, where he can step in and actually, potentially be a top 5 or 6 player for the Warriors as far as his impact. They need some depth. I think they go Duarte, someone that played multiple years in college. He's 23, I believe. So that's my mock. Tell me how many I'm wrong with.
I think I'm kind of excited about the prospects of the Warriors and teams trying to make moves.
Yeah.
I don't think they stick with the Wiseman thing didn't really pan out last year, and I think they're actively trying to get rid of them. So I just think there's going to be I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement, but I think there's going to be some significant movement because like what you said with Dre and Clay and Steph, like with them all returning, that window I don't want to say it's open again, but those three is the core definitely closing. And you're telling me Wiseman's still there. You have to do something.
Yes, they do. I think that's why they could trade the pick and Wiseman and Wiggins for money for something. There's been talks, but nothing concrete.
Do you think they trade both?
That if they were going to get like a real next, I don't know, talking Dame Lillard or Bradley Beal, you have to just give everything away. But for some mid-tier swap with Wiggins, is it worth giving up Wiseman? Or what was there was a rumor going on yesterday or the day before. It's in one of my threads. Give me 15 seconds. I'll find it. But the question was is it worth giving up Wiseman? Okay, here it is. It was Wiseman and 7 for 4 because Toronto supposedly doesn't like Jalen Suggs. The workout went badly. So maybe Golden State goes and gets Suggs at 4. But I was thinking about it. A move up from 7 to 4, yeah, theoretically it's better. But is it worth Wiseman who... Look, this guy played 5 college games at Memphis, then hardly played an offseason because of COVID, and then got hurt a few times last year. Just could never get in a groove. But he's raw as can be as a big man who we just saw DeAndre Ayton have success and help the Suns get into the championship. So I'm not sure Wiseman isn't the most coveted of those 3. Suggs, Wiseman, and whoever you get at 7. So anyway, that was another thing that was getting thrown around that I'm not sure I would even do. So yeah, it has to be for a surefire stud if you're trading. I think Wiseman and the 7 and whatever else. But if it's for a mid-tier guy or just to move up in the draft, I don't think you would do it.
What it's gonna have to be a Bill or a big name player because what's the point and I think it's a trade that works out for whoever comes out on the other end because like you're saying, you're getting Wiseman, you're getting another young talent, and whoever the Warriors receive is going to be from a team that either has a superstar and they have no shot or something along those lines. So I think it whatever happens, if it works out, is going to work out for both sides.
I hope so. For some reason, I've always enjoyed rooting for the whole Warriors run. I think people got tired of the Steph stuff and got old. But it would be fun to see them have one more run.
Yeah.
The Clay injuries now for 2 straight seasons, super unfortunate. Hasn't been fun following that. And I think that they have we didn't talk about this, but teams after the NBA Finals ended last week, they started posting up futures prices for the upcoming season. The discrepancies in prices from book to book on the Warriors was really interesting. Some places, I'm going to get this wrong most likely, but I believe it was Westgate, had them as the 3rd favorite.
Really?
It was Nets, Lakers, Warriors, and they were only 9-1, I think. Other places you could get them as high as 30-1, where they were in the mix of the Clippers and Jazz, maybe the 6th, 7th favorite, that range. Way at least after the Bucks, though. I think they were after the Clippers and after the Suns, something in that range. But what are they right now?
MGM, they're +9.
Okay, so that who's ahead of them?
Bucks, Lakers, Nets.
So they're 4th there.
Yeah.
It's varied quite a bit. And I know the same day Westgate was offering Golden State 9-1, I know someone that bet 30-1 somewhere else. So it existed within the same hour or something. It's probably come and met in the middle. 9-1 still seems low. But I think the sentiment is that, they're going to be healthy. Draymond, Steph, Clay, but they're going to make one more move. They have to, right? Might happen tonight, it might not. But I'm intrigued for sure. I think that's what you were saying you're kind of looking forward to most is the potential trades. But the Golden State one is potentially finals, playoff changing.
Yeah.
At least landscape changing for the league.
That'd be horrible. I don't think there's anybody outside of Warriors fans that want them to be good again. I think it's best for the league.
I don't know why people hate them.
Because you know why.
I don't.
It's
the shimmy thing that Steph does when he hits 11 threes in 4 straight games. No one's ever done. He's so much better at shooting a basketball from behind the 3-point line than anybody else that was the second or third best at shooting a basketball behind the third. The difference between him shooting a three-pointer and the next best is like maybe what Tiger Woods was in his prime, hitting a golf ball versus the next best golfer, where Woods was like a pick against the field, and Woods was still winning. Like Steph's just so far and beyond. I don't know. I guess I've just always appreciated and I've loved the three-pointer. As you could tell, you could look up youtube.com/BetsTV. I hit a bunch of threes when Qwan was filming. Look up the video. No, but I've always loved Steph. So I don't get it. Why do people hate him then? You said I know. I really don't.
LeBron factor. Nobody. They thought after he left Miami that when he returned to Cleveland, this was going to be his 1, 2, 3, 4 legacy build and run, and the Warriors
got in his way is what you're saying, and people love LeBron that much that they just hate the Warriors.
Yes.
Maybe that is. I've always hated LeBron, so that makes more sense.
Everybody needs a boogeyman, and the Warriors are LeBron's boogeyman.
I will say this, just as kind of a macro NBA talk. Just to double check before we get into ACC, we're not up against a break or a hard out, right? All right, he's answering a phone call. I don't think we have a hard out, so that's why we're going a little longer on this. But just from a macro standpoint, I think it's interesting that the Warriors, the way they played, they kind of changed the game. A lot of offenses are doing similar stuff schematically, and now what they do just isn't as effective, even if they are healthy, right? Just because other teams have now defended it for years, or they're implementing it themselves on the offensive side, they're just more familiar with it. And so I'm not sure, even if you took the timing of what you're doing matters, and as crazy and wild as even Steph was last year in some of those games, like as a whole, the team just wasn't as good. Hopefully Clay can help with that, and then whoever else they end up drafting tonight. We have 2 callers. All right, patch in. I'm not sure who's first, but go ahead and patch him in. Tone set the record. I don't think he's ever called in 4 times in a show. So congratulations. You got one W today.
Billy over today. This is for Billy. I'm sure he's out there. High as a kite. Hey, Billy. The hate is for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. When he joined that Warriors team, he ruined the Warriors. Kevin Durant. I was about to curse. I'm not going to do it out of respect. But just know he's the softest human on the planet.
That's it. He hung up. Kevin Durant.
At least he's getting straight to the point this time after this 7-minute soliloquy earlier on drafting. I can't say that I disagree with him.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll get to the second call. I appreciate you guys waiting just 10 more seconds. Even the way Katie's interacted and responded to things just on social media is the similar kind of soft vibe Anthony Tone has just kind of alluded to from the basketball side. It kind of lines up. He's also really good at putting the basketball through the hoop. So he got his W. They would have won if Harden and Kyrie didn't get hurt this year. Like they're probably going to win next year if they can stay healthy. So he's good enough that I can't really hate on the guy anyway. But yeah, he's a little softer than some of the other greats. We can take the next call. Put him through. How's it going?
Hey, Preston. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. You got a winner for us today?
I'm hoping, man. I got to keep up with these swimming picks.
Hey, he's laying like 370, which was somehow one of the biggest discounts we've ever seen on this show. But yes, continue.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a shot with the Blue Jays first 5, please.
Okay. Any reason, any angle?
I just prefer Ryu over Rodriguez slightly.
Okay, I can give you a plus 104 is the best price I see on my screen right now. I will say this, you have this going for you. Tone used the wagon, the Red Sox, in his parlay, the 55-1 or whatever it was. Speed dial. Tone's trying to call back in for the 5th time. No, but you got that going for you. And Ryu, former Dodger, I like the pick. First 5 on Toronto. We'll lock you in. By the way, you're just missing, if you win and Ty wins, I think you'll cut it to 0.07. 0.07.
Do you have a book that offers Toronto first 5 on the run line?
The other direction, like an alt line?
Exactly.
I mean...
Oh, he's gambling now. He's trying to win that money.
This is what he should do. I was kind of looking. I was like, maybe you should take Oakland first 5 where they're like plus 130, right? So you take the lead. But if you like Toronto enough, look, we don't have a hard out. We're going long today. We're having some fun. Let me pull this up real quick.
Sorry, what are you gonna do if you win?
He says he's gonna donate it to charity. Tone has a charity that he's opening up his Patreon. All right, so you want to go Toronto. I'm pulling up some alt lines. We're gonna get there. I'm not sure if the first 5 does a ton of those, but let me just look here. Alternate. You can do, if you don't want to bother with first 5, you could do a Jays alternate for the game at plus 160.
I don't know. I like those first 5s. You don't see an alternate.
How about this? What about Toronto first 5, Toronto full game? Like they have to win both, plus 180. If you really only want the first 5, there isn't an alternate line I see at the 2 books I checked for first 5 innings, just for the full game.
Let me check out Pinnacle. Pinnacle's usually. Do you mind if I check out Pinnacle real quick?
Yeah, you can. I can fire up my VPN too.
Yeah, do you have access to Pinnacle?
I do. I can do a drop down there and see what pulls up. How about this? We have another caller, or are we good? All right. People can just sing a song, throw on some tunes. I'll pull this up. Toronto first 5. Ryu season. All right, first 5 innings. Almost there. Oh, you could go 3-way so that you're not pushing on a tie. You want to try that?
What? No, I'm actually seeing. Or how would that work?
So here's the deal. So if the score's tied after 5 innings, it's a push. Normally, on plus 104. If you bet the 3-way line, Penny offers plus 133. So that gets you ahead of tie. Again, though, if it's a tie, then you're going to end up losing. But it's an extra 30 cents almost.
That would exactly be like Toronto first 5 minus the half, right? Yeah, exactly the same thing.
Right, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, lock me in for that. I'm gonna. I need to try to make up these units so
cool.
Then you can't throw a big fave at me tomorrow or whatever.
Or you could just take a step back like you did last month. Don't bet the last day and let everyone else lose. And I think you at least tied. You guys chopped, but yeah, this will get you ahead. If Ty and you both win, you'll be ahead of them by a little bit now. So we'll lock you in. Plus 133.
Thanks, Preston.
Yep, no problem. Take it easy. All right, let's do ACC. We don't have to go as crazy on the ACC. It is the bottom 4 teams anyhow. And I believe Louisville is the first up. I'll give you guys my projections real quick. I love the under here. I was shocked that it's 6.5 still some places. I'm not even at 5.5. I'm 5.3 wins projected. Excuse me. I understand the Satterfield coming over from Appalachian State. They have a crazy first season 2 years back. Then they dropped off pretty significantly last year. I think they're somewhere in the middle, like a 5 or 6 win team, not the 8 win team. Even 7, I know we'll lose against, but they don't have anything defensively returning. I'm not expecting that Malik Cunningham, without as many weapons around him, they lost a few to the NFL, and now it's Malik Cunningham trying to do everything himself on the ground, trying to make plays, running around. Look, they play Ole Miss and Kentucky out of the SEC and non-conference and UCF. And then they still have their ACC schedule, Florida State. They have Clemson. They play in the Atlantic. It's tough, man. I have to go under. It's no disrespect. I love Satterfield. I love what he did at Appalachian State. I love what he did year 1 at Louisville. But last year, I don't think was a fluke. The hype was there. Everyone was anticipating even another leap forward, but they don't have the underlying recruiting yet or talent that makes them, in my opinion, a team that's winning 7+ games, especially with a non-conference schedule that has them looking at 3 very losable games. So, yeah, going under 6.5 on Louisville. Georgia Tech, you got a 5. I'm a projected 4.0, 4 flat. This is another one where I think people are getting a little excited. Georgia Tech last year, they go away from the flexbone option team for years, and they have this quarterback, Sims. What's his first name? Jeff Sims? Yeah, Jeff Sims. He true freshman, takes over. They beat Florida State early before everyone realized Florida State actually stunk last year, but they were making some waves. Georgia Tech, I think, played UCF really close until the fourth quarter. UCF ends up winning late, but they looked pretty good, and no one was anticipating it because when you're going from playing regular offense, from playing the option and having this system and recruits of playing option football for years, it just doesn't usually translate that quickly. So I understand the love, but they play the third toughest schedule in college football. Outside of playing an ACC schedule that includes Clemson, they have to play Notre Dame and Georgia rivalry games to end the season too. And even their opener against Northern Illinois, it's a MAC school, but like that's not a guaranteed win either.
Northern Illinois is like
the schedule's just too brutal for them. The only way we're losing is if they win half their games, 6-6. I think 5 will push, sure. I think 4 is the most frequent win amount for Georgia Tech, and that's a win. So I got to go under on Georgia Tech, and I think Sims will be good. I have nothing against him. I think he did an impressive job in a new offense in a weird season, switching their scheme completely. But in the end, they still only graded out 117th in EPA through the air. Sims was great on the ground. He made extra plays, bought time with his legs. He also was just able to run well. But they're below average defensively. They don't have a ton of weapons just because of what they've been left with from a recruiting standpoint for this type of offense. And it's just like Sims or bust, and he can only do so much. And he just wasn't very accurate through the air anyway. So I think it's a little overblown. I got to go under on Georgia Tech. Apologize to the Yellow Jackets fans out there. I'll be quick on these last two. It's Duke and Syracuse. Duke's at 4. Syracuse is at 3. I know some books are Syracuse 3.5. So I think if you can get the 3 on a Syracuse at a reasonable juice, like in that minus 130s range or better, it's worthwhile going over. But the 3.5 would be a total pass. So it's not like a massive edge. I think in general, there hasn't been. I know I glossed over Duke and Cutcliffe. Honestly, this is probably like his last season. If they can't figure it out, they've been tailing off. They'll be regrouping there and getting a new coach. So he is on the hot seat, but I am right on market with Duke. They have a couple new quarterbacks coming in after the Chase Bryce experiment, who transferred from Clemson, did not work last season. I believe they were like bottom 5 to 10 in pass and rushing EPA per play. It was ugly. But going to Syracuse again, I apologize. I jumped over Duke quickly, but I wanted to just give them a little bit of time. Dino Babers, I've never seen someone love a recruit like Tommy DeVito more than Dino Babers. Like, he just is so bad, yet keeps getting all of the opportunity and the time. And the times that Syracuse looked good last year was when the backup would go in and play in second halves, or I think he started one game that DeVito missed. I'm forgetting his name, but look at like the numbers last year. They were 124th. I think only 125 teams played last year. Maybe it was 127, but it wasn't the full 130. It was 127, I believe. They were 4th last in the entire country in EPA through the air and 6th last, so 6th worst in EPA per run. They couldn't run. Their offensive line was not created. Like, they literally just ran it into a pile every time they tried to run. But then when your offense has to pass, then it's easier to defend. Plus, it's Tommy DeVito who can't do anything. I just think Syracuse is kind of stuck, and they need to move on from DeVito, but he's just been there, and it's like Babers' guy, and he was a high recruit coming out of high school. So if they don't have anyone else, then what's the plan? Good question. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant going over 3, but it is worthwhile if you can get it. From a numbers perspective, look, their schedule a lot different than the last few teams we talked about at a conference. They get Ohio, who they're a small favorite against to open the year week 1. They get Rutgers at home, Albany at home, I believe, and Liberty, who should be a favorite on the road there, but still a home game. Syracuse, they could hang with Liberty potentially. So to get to 3 wins when you have 4 winnable games to start, plus maybe they win an ACC game, right? Could happen. It's hard to go 2-10 or worse with the schedule, as hesitant as I am with Syracuse and Tommy DeVito. So those are my thoughts there. But and it's ugly betting. I loved Babers too. He came over from Bowling Green and the MAC. He was doing great things. They believe his first season at Syracuse. Did you remember this? This feels like 30 years ago. 2018, Syracuse won 10 games. Did you even know that? I didn't. I forgot. They won 10 games.
Yeah.
I don't even know how.
What year?
2018, I believe it was.
Was that when one of my head coach, Tim Lester, was that when he was there?
I couldn't tell you. Why did you said he was your coach?
Yeah. My freshman year, he was a head coach. Him, Jake Moreland. Like, he had a whole staff at Syracuse before he went to Western, which he's at now.
I will say this. There was a guy. I know I'm changing the subject. I just don't know the coaching trees very well. I couldn't tell you the answer. Garrett Schrader transferred over from Mississippi State. He's got like a beard kind of like mine. He's the guy, if you remember, a play went kind of viral. I think they were playing Kansas State, bottom of the screen. He's running down towards the marker on a 4th down, and he jumps and he flips and lands like half a yard or a yard short of the marker. They lose the game on it, but if he gets it, they probably get into field goal range or close, and they could have won the game. I don't remember the exact dynamics of the final score, but I mean, he's a big dude, but he actually is pretty mobile. He has this spirit. He was making plays. Look, he can't be worse than DeVito, so I'm hoping they give him some run, but Babers just loves DeVito. I don't understand it. So that's another reason why I think there is some upside to Syracuse, but also I just can't really trust it. But I liked what I saw a little bit from Schrader at Mississippi State against SEC defenses, which he won't be seeing anymore.
If your coach is bullheaded,
he is what he is, and it just.
Yeah.
You should pull up a picture. Can you pull up a picture and show it? If not, we can close up. I mean, he's got the beard. It's pretty similar.
What's the name?
Garrett. For people that are still watching and tuning in, it's a little darker brown, but I mean, it's a good beard. It's like kind of in the realm of
Garrett what?
Schrader, Schrader. The Ryan Fitzpatrick, Preston Johnson beard realm. His is a little more leprechaun to it.
Yes.
You'll see.
Hold on.
But it's pretty good. So I got to root on my Beard brothers.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to see him in the Syracuse Babers offense that, yeah, the offensive line has to be better. They need to be able to, get more than 1 yard per carry. And DeVito, mercy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm rooting for Schrader. I hope that there's some way that he gets to see some time. And with the way, again, their schedule sets up, I'm talking myself into Syracuse if you can find those threes more and more. But it's like Ohio, Rutgers, Albany, at least those first 3 games, even the Liberty game, they were going to be a dog. They're going to be at home. Ooh, it's gotten bigger and longer than that, but that's like 2/3 of it maybe. His is a little more scraggly, but he can ball. I kind of like him. Anyway, so there's some upside to Syracuse at the 3. I do like under 6.5 though with Ville. Liked under 5 with Georgia Tech. Liked the Florida State over 5.5 yesterday. Liked the under on Virginia 6.5, I believe it was. We've got a lot of plays in the ACC. We will recap them tomorrow. If Ray's still down and out with his sickness, then we will find someone else to call in and we'll wrap ACC. Until then, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Hopefully we get a W from Sarab and Ty, and we have a run down to the wire. Tomorrow will be the last day. Chance for $700 from the Bets TV and Last Word Cheetah prize pool for July. We will talk to you then. Thank you, Qwan. Enjoy the NBA draft.